Hi, my name is Michael and welcome to my anatomy video. Today we'll be talking about muscle movements, muscle and joints involved, agonist and antagonist muscles, and the plane in which the movements occur. So the first movement we see here is called abduction. The selected joint is the shoulder. Muscles involved are supraspinatus deltoid, trapezius, and serratus anterior. Agonist muscle is the deltoid muscle. Antagonist muscle is the latissimus dorsi. The fr the frontal plane is where this movement occurs. The next muscle movement is called adduction. The selected joint is the shoulder. Muscles involved are the pectoralis major, latissimus dorsi, and triceps. Agonist muscle is the deltoid. Antagonist muscle is the latissimus dorsi. The frontal plane is the plane in which this muscle movement occurs. This muscle movement is called circumduction. The joint is the elbow. Muscles involved are the pectoralis major, subscapularis, bicep brachii, and the latissimus dorsi. Agonist muscle is the deltoid. Antagonist muscle is the latissimus dorsi. The transverse plane is where this muscle movement occurs, and a real-world application is an overarm tennis serve. The next muscle movement is called insertion. The joint involved is the elbow. The muscles involved are the biceps tendon and triceps tendon. Agonist muscle is the bicep. Antagonist muscle is the tricep. Sagittal plane is where this muscle movement occurs. The next movement is called flexion. The selected joint is the elbow. Muscles involved are the brachioradialis, the brachialis, and the biceps. Agonist muscle is the bicep. Antagonist muscle is the tricep. Sagittal plane is where this occurs, and curling dumbbells is a real-world application. The next movement is called lateral rotation. The selected joint is the shoulder. Muscles involved are the sartorius, pectineus, piriformis, and the quadratus femoris. Agonist muscle is the posterior deltoid and the infraspinatus. Antagonist muscle is the latissimus dorsi and anterior deltoid. The frontal plane is where this muscle movement occurs. Next movement is called extension. The selected joint is the knee. Muscles involved are the quadriceps, rectus femoris, vastus lateralis, vastus medius, and vastus intermedius. Agonists are the quadriceps. Antagonists are the hamstrings. The sagittal plane is where this movement occurs, and a real-world application would be jumping high. This next movement is called dorsiflexion. The selected joint is the ankle. Muscles involved are the fibularis tertius, extensor digitorum longus, extensor hallucis longus, and tibialis anterior. Agonist muscle is the tibialis anterior. Antagonist is the gastrocnemius soleus. Sagittal plane is where this occurs, and stretching, pulling your toes towards you would be the real-world application. This next movement is called a plantar flexion. The selected joint is the ankle. Muscles involved are the gastrocnemius soleus and the plantaris. Agonist is the tibialis anterior. Antagonist is the gastrocnemius. Sagittal plane is where this occurs, and a real-world application will be swimming. This next movement is called eversion. The selected joint is the ankle. Muscles involved are the tibialis anterior, shin muscle, fibularis longus, fibularis brevis. Agonist muscle is the peroneus longus, peroneus brevis, and peroneus tertius. Frontal plane is where this occurs, and a real-world application would be ice skating. This next movement is called inversion. The selected joint is the ankle. Muscles involved are the tibialis anterior, tibialis posterior, flexor digitorum, flexor hallucis, and extensor hallucis. Agonist muscles are the tibialis anterior and tibialis posterior. Antagonist muscles are the peroneus longus, peroneus brevis, and peroneus tichius. Frontal plane is where this occurs, and a real-world example would be kicking a soccer ball. This movement is called supination. Selected joint is the wrist. Muscles involved are the bicep brachii, supinator, and brachioradialis. Agonist muscles are the bicep, supinator, and brachioradialis. Antagonists are the pronator quadratus, and transverse plane is where this occurs. This next movement is called pronation. Selected joint is the wrist. Muscles involved are pronator teres, pronator quadratus, flexor carpi radialis. Agonist is the pronator quadratus and pronator teres. Antagonist is flexor carpi radialis. Transverse plane is where this occurs. This next movement is called ulnar deviation. Selected joint is the wrist. Muscles involved are flexor carpi ulnaris and extensor carpi ulnaris. Agonist is flexor and extensor carpi ulnaris. Antagonist is flexor carpi radialis and extensor carpi radialis. Frontal plane is where this occurs. This movement is called finger opposition. The selected joint are the fingers. Muscle involved are the lumbrical muscles, flexor digitorum, superficialis muscle, and the flexor digitorum profundus muscle. Agonist is a wrist flexor group. Antagonist is a wrist extensor group. Frontal plane is where this occurs, and real-world application is eating cherries. The last movement we have is called hyperextension. Selected joint is the shoulder. Latissimus dorsi, tricep major and minor are all muscles involved. Agonist is middle deltoid, lower trapezius. Antagonist, latissimus dorsi and middle trapezius. Sagittal plane is where this occurs, and rowing a boat will be the example.